And this is the third video for my conversation class. Let me start out by asking you, what I want to tell you first is to remind you that all English statements and questions do have a helping verb related to them in one way or the other. And I talked about in my first secret 41 words you should be using. Here's a question. Is this dialogue correct? Will you come later? Yes, I'll. And the answer is no. It's not correct. It's better to separate the two words. Now, this is opposite from my contractions lesson. However, we do have something similar, and that is that this doesn't have the wills. Okay, so we need more than 41 words. I have to redo this because I don't have I'll. I don't have you'll, they'll. It's not here. I forgot to do it. So we can change this number to 50 words. Everything changes every day, and I'll probably redo this video. But let me move on. Yes, you should be using I will in your answer because it's more important to separate and have two words when you answer a yes-no question. Will you come later? That's a yes-no question. And you can answer it with yes or no. But there can be a problem with that, and the word I will helps the listener, A, know you understood their grammar structure. It's called active listening in a way. So secret number 3 is the art of the short answer. Let me give you some examples. Quickly answer these questions. Are you a student? Do you have a good job? Do you have a job? Sorry. Do you have a job? And number 3, have you been to the U.S.? How did you answer those questions? Let's start again. Are you a student? What do you say? Are you a student? Now, many of you might say no or yes. Okay, that goes against this lesson. My rule in this class is you can't say yes or no. Why? Because it doesn't actively listen and it doesn't prove to the person asking the question you really understood the question. You may have misunderstood the question. So if you just say yes or no, that doesn't tell me you understood the question. And hopefully you understood it so there's not miscommunication. But unfortunately, a lot of people will just say yes or no. That's not the problem in Taiwan. Sometimes students just say yes or no. However, sometimes students say which is very, very bad. I'll talk about that another time. Instead of saying you want to say yes, but that's also not going with my lesson. Here's some answers. Are you a student? Yes, I am a student. Is that what you said? Are you a student? No, I'm not a student. Is that what you said? Okay, how about this one? Do you have a job? Yes, I have. Okay, some people say that's correct, but not in North America. Let's go back to the first case. Yes, I am a student. No, I'm not a student. Okay, let's just say all of these are wrong. They're unnatural communication. Yeah, sure, it's not wrong. It's not like nobody will understand you. It's just an unnatural communication. Let's take a look at why. To repeat each part of my question is unnatural. Are you a student? Yes, I am a student. Okay, it's frustrating for the native speakers. Why is it frustrating? Because you are repeating each part, and it hardly confirms you really understood my question. It's just you're repeating words. If you have a conversation like that, are you a student? Yes, I'm a student. Do you have a job? Yes, I have a job. Have you been to the U.S.? No, I haven't been to the U.S. Okay, this sounds aggressive. It doesn't sound like a normal conversation. I will stop talking to you if you answer questions like this. I know it sounds mean, but I get frustrated. So don't say, yes, I am a student, or no, I'm not a student. Instead, let's focus on the two words that can confirm you understood my question. Are you a student? I am. Are you a student? I'm not. Don't say yes or no. If you always say yes or no, it's boring. It's okay sometimes. Are you a student? No, I work. Oh, do you have a job? I do. I'm a teacher. Have you been to the U.S.? I have. I'm from there. So when we have a conversation, if we just say, are you a student? No. Do you have a job? Yes. Have you been to the U.S.? Yes. Then it's not the same as a normal conversation. And you can write it off as just a quick transaction of information and not a very natural conversation. So, going back to this slide, are you a student? You is the noun. I is the noun. are is here in this case. This is the verb, the main verb. However, sometimes the are is also a helping verb, but it's the same rule. You answer I am or I'm not. 2 words, I am, I'm not. The magic 2 words. I will talk more about the magic 2 words. First of all, it helps you focus on the helping verb. Are you a student? I am, I'm not. If you follow this 2-word rule, you answer the question and you prove to the speaker that you understood the question. So there's no miscommunication. Are you a student? I am. You can say yes, sure, sometimes. Don't say it every time. Are you a student? Yes, I am. Are you a student? I'm not. I'm a teacher. See, you don't have to say no. Because this is so short, saying yes, I am sounds nice. But if you just say I'm not, it's also good. Do you have a job? I do. Have you been to the U.S.? I haven't. So when I say, do you have a job, and you say, I have, you're answering with the main verb. And I want you to focus on the helping verb. Sometimes you will hear somebody say, I have. I think that's British English. It's not wrong, but at the same time, if you're in North America, it does sound funny. So don't ignore the essential pattern of our spoken language. Don't repeat. Do you have a job? Yes, I have a job. Why would you repeat this information? Don't repeat this information. I said it in my question, so if you repeat the information, you're wasting my time. Instead of repeating my information in my question, give me some extra information. Okay? Do you have a job? I do. I'm a teacher. Are you a student? I'm not. I'm a teacher. I'm a teacher is the extra information. Keep your answer about the question to 2 words. Answer the question first, then give extra information. If somebody says, are you a student? And you say, I'm a teacher, I feel that it's not a good conversation. Instead, answer the question, I'm not. Then give the extra information. I'm a teacher. Do you have a job? I'm a teacher. Sounds weird. But if you say, do you have a job? I do. I'm a teacher. Then you will have a normal conversation. Have you been to the U.S.? I've been to the U.S. 真的不行. It sounds terrible. You're repeating all the information. Have you been to the U.S.? I've been to the U.S. Okay, I'm not going to talk to this guy anymore because he's worried or nervous or something. I don't know his problem. Have you been to the U.S.? I have. Now give some extra information. Have you been to the U.S.? I have. I went to California last year. Have you been to the U.S.? I haven't. But I'm going to go there next year. That's a conversation. And I want you to have a full conversation. Those are yes-no questions. This is my secret number 3. Respond to questions and statements with a short answer. Don't say yes or no every time. Are you a teacher? I am. I'm not. Aren't you a teacher? Okay, now this is a tricky negative question. We usually won't ask that unless we have an implication that we already believe you're a teacher. I think you're a teacher. Aren't you a teacher? I thought you were a teacher. Do you have a job? I do. I don't. Does your father have a job? He does. He doesn't. Be careful of the third person singular. Have you been to the U.S.? I have. I haven't. Has your father been to the U.S.? He has. He hasn't. Okay, as you can see, these same words as you see here are in my secret from the first secret, the combination of pronouns and helping verbs to make contractions. And we have the affirmative contraction. The helping verbs are here. And in the negative contraction, the helping verbs are all here. You can see these helping verbs, modals. I do have will here. I didn't forget at that time. We can show the pattern, I've shown this before, of the helping verbs compared to the main verb pattern or structure. And the way it works, we have the present continuous, and we have linking verbs, which is not really, doesn't have a main verb. The M is R is the main verb in this case. It's simple present. And then we also do have do, does, did, which is also simple present and simple past. The negatives, of course, are here. And the have, has, had, have, has, hadn't, those are there. I showed this to you before. Let's break it down, though, into past and present. In the present sense, we have the helping verb and the main verb or complement here. The be linking verb can be complemented or completed with an adjective, noun, or prepositional phrase. But right now, let's take a look at all these helping verbs. All these helping verbs break down the different verbs grammar. We have basically present and past grammar with the same families of helping verbs. But as we look at the next step, we can see that the main verb is also comparative. If you take a look at the present continuous, you have to add ing. If you use the simple present, you have to conjugate the third person singular. If you have the present perfect, you have to use a PP, a taken. This verb taking, take or takes, or taken. And then the present perfect continuous uses been, taking. We have a PP plus ing. Everybody knows because you've studied it many years. But what I want you to understand is that when you have the helping verb, you should already know what the verbs should sound like. We break it down like that. And the complement part, that's just this first part here. The be linking verb also goes together with adjective, nouns, or prepositional phrases. There are other things. There's many other things. This is all very basic coverage of grammar. All English statements and questions have a helping verb. This is also called auxiliary verb. A lot of my British friends correct me on that. And primary helping verbs can be used to do many things. I just want to give you information. You can stop this video and look at it one more time, but the primary helping verbs are here, and that includes the ing form of be and the PP form, the past participle form of been or be also, but I didn't include those in my contractions because they don't contract very much. This is an essential part of spoken language, and even modals, okay? Modals like would. Would you like some tea? You can do it. I would, thanks. I wouldn't. And you don't have to say thanks. You can say, no, I wouldn't. That sounds strange. No, thank you is okay. But I'm talking about a lesson of the pronoun, helping verb, or modal to respond to yes, no questions. Would you like some tea? I would, thanks. And then here's the extra information. I would, thanks. I'm very thirsty. Would you like some tea? No, thanks. Do you have water? Okay, so sometimes we can say no. I wouldn't say I wouldn't, thanks. That's very weird. Nobody says that. We'd say no, thanks. But you could say this. This is not wrong. Where's my next slide? Okay, I'm just showing you here that when you say I would or I wouldn't, it confirms you understood the helping verb in the original question. And that helps the listener. It's called active listening, and it helps the listener know that you understood. It makes communication more efficient. Would you like some tea? I would. Then, do you have any water? I'm really thirsty. That's a complete conversation with some extra information. First, we confirm that you understood the question. Would you like some tea? I wouldn't. Do you have any water instead? Moving on, as you can see, there's the affirmative answer and the negative answer, and on this side, the not changes the pronoun. This is the situation with contractions too. If there's a not, it changes the two-word structure. And here is some more. Here's a game we can play. Respond to these questions. Answer these questions without saying yes or no. Don't say yes or no, but do give the two words that follow yes or no. 2 words only. Do you speak Spanish? I do. I don't. Have you tried cheese? I have. I haven't. Is your teacher married? He is. He isn't. She isn't. And by the way, do you notice a pattern? In a yes-no question, the first word is your helping verb. So you simply need to identify that. So answering a yes-no question is very easy. And responding to it is very easy. Does your father have a good job? He does. Then make a follow-up statement or question to complete the conversation. Do you speak Spanish? I don't, but I'm learning soon. Have you tried cheese? I have, of course. I love it on pizza. Is your teacher married? I think he is. I'm not 100% sure. Does your father have a good job? He does. He's a manager. Are you religious? I am. I'm not. So we can say my family's Christian. I was raised Christian. There's a lot of answers. That's a very controversial question in the United States. Don't ask that on the job. You'll get fired. And we have some more questions. You can stop the video and ask these questions. Because it's already been 14 minutes, I'm going to have to put this into a shorter 2-part video, I believe. Let me try to go just one little bit further. Responding to statements. Okay, just like a yes-no question. When you respond to a statement, you can also do the same 2-word structure. But there's some changes, but it's very simple. Are you a teacher? I'm sorry. Now, this is not a question. This is a statement. You are a teacher. Or if I make a contraction, I say, you're a teacher. You're a teacher. And the answer is, of course, the same. I am or I'm not. You aren't a teacher. I am or I'm not. You have a job. Somebody might ask you a question using a statement. You have a job? You shouldn't do that. But if somebody does, maybe they make a statement, you have a job. And it's really a question, but the intonation changes it. Then we say, I do or I don't. Oh, your father has a good job. He does or he doesn't. So the answer is really the same as the yes-no question. This is very simple to play this game. Of course, you can also give the extra information after this. Responding to statements in the form of a question. So if I say, you have a job, you can say, I do or I don't. But if somebody asks you a question, if somebody makes a statement like, I bought a new car, that's not information you have. But you can now respond in the form of a question. Now you can say, you did or did you? This should be a period. You did. That should be an exclamation point. Because when you have this response, it really isn't a question, but the grammar is a question. I'm talking about a statement. So that exclamation point should be here. Made a little mistake. I bought a new car. Did you? That's a question. Or you did. That's not a question. And then you can follow up with a question. What kind of car did you buy? Don't make a statement for that. Cars are very important. Is that your statement? Wow, you bought a new car. They're very important for transportation. No, that's very strange. So you need to let me brag about my new car. I bought a new car. Oh, did you? What kind of car is it? Oh, you did. Did you buy a new one or a used one? Because I like to buy used cars. You can even just say something simple like, that's great, or you're so lucky. I bought a new car. You did. That's great. Can I see it? Where is it located? How much did you pay for it? There's a lot of different questions you can ask. So, I've been to the U.S. Now, this statement, I've been to the U.S., I'm going to talk about it more later, but this is the way somebody might brag and say, wow, hey, guess what? I just got back from my trip. Now I can say I've been to the U.S., and then somebody will respond to that. 2 words. What's your answer? Follow my rule. 2 words. Don't say yes or no. I've been to the U.S. And then make a follow-up statement or question. Probably a question, not a statement. I've been to the U.S. You have. Okay, now that's an exclamation point. I need to change that. Or, have you? That's a question. 2 words. And a follow-up question. What state did you go to? Or a yes-no question. Did you visit Las Vegas? So a follow-up question is very polite when somebody wants to brag. You should let them brag a little bit. Now, if they always tell you bragging statements, then the game's over. You can change the rules and tell them to go back and stop bragging about stuff. But in this case, sometimes it's nice information to talk about. Here's a game. I bought a new house. You did. How much did it cost? I bought a new house. Did you? Where is it located? Number 2, my mother has, now we can put that together and say my mother's been working in the hospital. What is your response? Has she? Or she has. And then you can ask her for more information. Does she do surgeries? Is she a doctor? Has she worked there long? So when we use this grammar has been working, the helping verb, you don't need to repeat the been. My mother, she has. That's all we need. 2 words, not 3. She has been? Okay, if you say that, it's not wrong, but it's not following my lesson. Now here's one. Number 3, you were a student in 1995. Is that a question or a statement? Well, it doesn't matter. If it's true, you can say I was. However, if it's not true, you can say I wasn't. And then the extra information. So play this game, turn off the video and try some of these. I'll give the answers later in the description part of the video. Okay, let's move on to tag questions. You're a teacher, aren't you? Are you going to say you're a teacher, aren't you? Or are you going to say you're a teacher, aren't you? Tag questions have 2 patterns. You have a job, that's the statement. Don't you, that's the tag. And we can say you have a job, don't you? Or you have a job, don't you? Many of my Taiwanese students choose the second one. But unfortunately, that sounds wrong. It means that you don't know. You aren't married, are you? Okay, now usually if you say something like that, you believe they're married. But in this case, because you rose it, are you? You're not sure if the statement is true. You're not sure if I'm married or not. You don't have any data. The data doesn't exist, so you rise the intonation and you're asking for information. However, when you have a falling, we say, you aren't married, are you? Now you believe the statement is true. The speaker is only trying to confirm that he already believes this statement is true. The speaker could be accusing the listener of not being married. For example, if I stole your money and you found out I took your money, you could say, you took my money, didn't you? Because you believe you're accusing me of taking your money. So one more time, when we repeat these questions, we say, you're a teacher, aren't you? You aren't a teacher, are you? You don't have a job, sorry, do you? Or you have a job, don't you? Your father has a job, doesn't he? So those are the tag questions that we also can answer with the same two-word method. So you're a teacher, aren't you? I am, I'm not. It makes communication very easy. You're a teacher, aren't you? I'm not, I'm a student. And here's some examples I want you to practice. Wait a minute, what's going on here? Something got mixed up. Something got mixed up. Okay, the next part of my two-word answer game is actually 3 words. It's actually 3 words, but it plays the same can you recognize the helping verb game. Agree with the statements you hear, don't disagree. So and when I say agree, I mean you're agreeing that you also did the same thing. For example, if you hear I'm going on vacation, you can say so am I. Don't say I am not going on vacation, because I need you to use the helping verb. And you can say so, or if it's a negative, you can say neither. Let's play the game very quickly so you understand. I was at the beach yesterday. So was I. I like listening to music. So do I. I stayed in a nice hotel on vacation. So did I. I don't like smoking. Neither do I. So we have these answers. And we also can say I don't either. We can also say I was too, I do too. But I'd rather you try the so part, okay? For my game, it really makes sure. I don't like the to. I think the to is a little bit lazy. This is nicer sounding. You can even use the 2-word follow-up too. I was at the beach yesterday. Were you? So was I. I like listening to music. Do you? So do I. I stayed in a nice hotel on vacation. Did you? So did I. I don't like smoking. Don't you? Neither do I. I can't swim. Can't you? Neither can I. I haven't had dinner yet. Haven't you? Neither have I. Okay, that's the end of my lesson, but I want to talk about this. Read this statement. Is this correct? I have ever been to the U.S. Is that correct? No, it's not correct. I have ever been to the U.S. sounds terrible, so don't use the ever here. This is correct. I've been to the U.S. First, we use a contraction, and second, we don't use the ever. Instead, we can say, I've been to the U.S. before. That's a nice affirmative statement. If you want to use the ever, it's okay in these statements. For example, question, have you ever been to the U.S.? Negative statement, I haven't ever been to the U.S. That's okay. Negative statement, I've never been to the U.S. before. I probably wouldn't say this first negative statement, I haven't ever been. It's very hard to say. Now, play this game. You're hungry. Okay, follow the instructions here. See if you can do it smoothly. I'm going to end this presentation because it's actually been very long. This is the B-side. We use these with partners, but if you're watching this video alone, maybe you can change them. I'll give you one example. The first one, you're hungry. Change the statement into a yes-no question. Are you hungry? Can you do that? Change it to a negative statement. You aren't hungry. Make sure you use the contractions. Change them into tag questions. You're hungry, aren't you? Number 4, change them in a negative statement, then change them in a tag question. You aren't hungry, are you? So this is the magic thing about the tag question is it also uses the 2 words, aren't you? We probably wouldn't say, I'm the teacher, am I not? We probably would say, I'm the teacher, aren't I? Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this very, very long video about short answers, giving short answers or responding with 2-word short statements. And I will probably do all my videos again someday because they're all